Now this will tell us. And that's pretty conclusive. Still going. Close. I think he got it down.
How strong is he?
Welcome back, everybody, to another week of the Pick and Go podcast. Pleased to have you back listening along. It was a tough week on the punt for a few of us. Fisky's
Not
over,
for everyone.
Yeah, I was just going to say Fisky's over in the corner grinning away because
Read him out.
he's absolutely running away with the tipping comp again. You're going to have to make some more noise if you want that on camera, mate.
Woo! Woo! Am I on here? Here we go. Winners and winners.
There's the gift.
Yeah, there's the gift for the week.
Take us back. Who did he back?
All right, we'll get straight into it. Reds plus 7.5 best bet, tick. Hurricanes minus 29.5 at 275, value bet, tick. Blues $1.18, multi-anchor, tick. And Geordie Barrett to score a try. Got it done in the last minute for the perfect week for Fisky.
Well, he got the Hurricanes minus 29.5 and Geordie Barrett to score a try with the same, basically the last.
Was that?
Second minute, wasn't it?
Yeah, almost the last play of the game.
It was.
Geordie scored the first.
No, Geordie scored like 82nd minute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
right
yeah.
at the end in the corner there. I
Yep,
think that,
last play of the game. That's all you need. That's all you need, boys.
no notes on the score sheet, right? Anyway,
right.
thanks for joining us again. Good to have one winning tipster amongst the crew to give the punters something to hold on to. But and as always, joined by Paul Moati to my right. Paul, how are you going this week?
Not as financially stable as Fisky, but I'm hoping to bounce back.
It's not all that money, mate. We can,
It is.
got to find other areas in your life to hold on to. And on my left, Richard Lady. Richard, thanks for joining the podcast once again. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I'd get the call up after my my 0-4
Fair
last
dinkum.
week. But
There's not a lot to beat outside of Fisky, to be
yeah, I
fair.
know. Someone's got to balance it out, So yeah, I'm here and I'm ready to redeem myself.
That's what we like.
That's Reese's new nickname around the office. Owen. 0-4. But
I'll be called the Redeemer.
the best thing about Super Rugby Trans-Tasman is it's on for another week. It's on this week, so we've got a chance to redeem ourselves.
Exactly.
Got 2 more weeks to redeem ourselves, even. Although might not be able to say the same about the Chiefs after that performance up in Townsville on Saturday night. Leading the whole country down, I think we can say fairly. We had the perfect 14-0 record going, but couldn't quite get across the line. Did pull off a pretty stirring comeback, but just fell short at the final hurdle. That alongside the Highlanders failing to get a bonus point in Melbourne on Sunday, in Leichhardt Oval on Sunday afternoon. Yep, that's right. Very well prepared, as you can tell. But so, do you think, Paul, that's now a 3-horse race for the final with those two teams slipping up over the weekend?
Pretty much. Yeah. It's what is it? Blues at the top of the table, Hurricanes, and of course the Crusaders, who missed a bonus point somewhere along the way. How did that
Against the Brumbies in that first game?
Yeah. How did they? That's didn't see that coming, but they probably have the easier of. In fact, they do have the easy finish to the season, I guess, as sort of witnessed by the fact that they're resting a number of players this week.
Interesting.
And still, you cannot get a head-to-head bet on them.
Yeah. Not that Richie Moa could score even when he was in the lineup last week, but the less said about that, the better.
Whoa.
That's mine and Richard's try score bet for the week.
Yeah, not happy.
Yeah, I don't know if Crusaders resting players is good for the Force or bad for the Force, because there's that argument that some of the players now starting or want to hold on to their position and make a go of it. So instead of Richie Moanga there going through the motions at 60%, they're going to have a couple of players that'll be chomping at the bit to make a statement. So I don't think it's good news for the Force, put it that way.
It's certainly not the way they play. 10-man rugby is about as far as they go. They really have nothing outside of it. They were terrible against the Canes last week.
I actually didn't think they were that bad.
They were horrible.
Well, 3 of those tries came out of absolutely nothing. The Amua tried to open the scoring, just a ball goes long off the line out, and he beats 4 or 5 guys himself. It was very much a one-man try.
Okay, let's
Rayasi
practice
try,
our tackling.
Oh, yeah, but they were, I think that, weren't they up 6-0 at that stage and had
They
to line
were.
out in Hurricanes territory? Obviously, they needed to sort out the set piece. The Salesi Rayasi try, that hot on attack, fling a ball wide, just get a bad bounce, and he goes 95 meters. And then the
I think that backs up Paul's point. They can't score points when on the attack.
Oh, yeah. I think the Hurricanes were flattered by what was the final score. Yeah,
they did have a try disallowed as well.
Yeah, and then off that try, the Hurricanes get the penalty from one of the most dubious offside calls I've ever seen. Kick the ball into the line out, and then score the chip and chase off that line out. So it's not, I wouldn't say the Hurricanes were dominating play throughout. They certainly, they're probably facing a stronger pack this week, but they didn't get completely dominated around the park, I'd say.
No, but I think that's more on the Force than the Canes. The fact that they are devoid of any sort of offensive nous just goes to show the New Zealand teams are always going to score points. So to stop them or to beat them, you're going to have to. The Australian teams are going to have to score points, and the Force can't score points. They're terrible. But of course, you can get them plus the points this week if you want.
It's a big start. Yeah, it's fair. I think we'll need a mediator here. Rissy, did you see much of the game on Friday night? And if so, which side of this argument would you come down on?
Yeah, I did watch the game. I would say that I'll probably go with you, Patrick. I feel like the Hurricanes may have been flattened a bit by it. I mean,
anything to stay on the podcast.
I had the Force as my best bet, so maybe part of it was the frustration was watching that game and just seeing the Hurricanes kind of just sneaking a few easy tries. At halftime, I was like, probably pretty safe, but they sort of just ran away with it at the end, and then that Geordie Barrett try at the end, as we talked about, kind of really put them over that line. So, I mean, the Force just need they have really struggled to score points this season. They kind of looked good in that Chiefs game when the Chiefs were down to sort of 14, 13 men. So maybe that's their secret. They just need to get a player from another team sent off, and then they might be able to run in a few tries then. So we'll see what the Crusaders' discipline's like this week.
Yeah, I'm not going to let this one go, Pat. I think Paul's on the money. It's one thing to look good and be in a game, which I totally agree with, but the lowest Kiwi score last week was 36. That was the lowest score by any Kiwi team. And you want to compete, you've got to be getting in the high 20s, low 30s. And, we saw the Rebels get 27 and they still got done 13 plus. So whilst the Force may compete, their highest score this season is 19 points. And they've had a 15 and a 6. So, they're averaging just over probably 12 points a match, which is just not going to cut it.
They have held opposition to 25 or fewer in two of the three games, though. To be fair to them, like they've probably
because they've had the ball for long periods of the game, and that's good in a way. But you've just got to be getting in. Not going to averaging 12, 13 points. You're just not going to cut it. Even though you look impressive, the Kiwis have shown how you play rugby. You not only compete in the set piece and try and defend well. You see an opportunity, you grab it.
Yeah, fair enough. So I take it you'll be backing the Crusaders to run rings around them on Friday night then? Even with Munger and co? You got Fergus Burke, David Havili, Braden Enor sort of in your three-quarter line there?
Yeah, so I've seen the side, and it's good to see Scott Barrett starting. I won't be backing that minus. I won't be taking the plus. It's not one of my players this week. I really feel that game and the very last game of the round are kind of, we know who's going to win. We're just not sure by exactly how much. This could fall either side of that 29. So, yeah, I'm going to stay out.
Yeah, it is a very big line for a team missing, from my count, at least 5 or 4 frontline players. You got Sevu Reece, Sam Whitelock, and Ethan Blackadder also out for the Crusaders there. It's hard to really read. I think that's probably the most anyone's ever delved into the Western Force in 2021, right? The last 5 minutes we just spent on them, so it's hard to know too much going on. In terms of the 3 horses going for the finals, probably haven't really touched on the Blues much out of the 3 of them. They topping the table still, currently 15 out of 15 points, 3 bonus points, 102 positive points differential after another big win over this, and they're probably the toughest test so far this season, you'd have to say, beating the Brumbies by 28 at home. Paul, are you impressed by what you've seen by the Blues through 3 games, or you think it's a bit of fool's gold?
No, I have been very, very much impressed. And I don't think it's a coincidence that their sort of upsurge in form has coincided with the return of their captain, Fantastic, even though he has been coming off the bench. He makes a huge difference to the overall balance of that Blues team. So I thought the Brumbies might put up a wee bit more of a fight, and I think maybe the score flattered the Blues slightly last weekend, but they really do look like a fully functioning unit at the moment. They almost look Crusader-like.
Let's not getting carried away here. They're playing the Rebels and the Brumbies. Okay.
So, the Brumbies were the beaten finalists in the Super Rugby Australia tournament. So, but the Blues, they have looked very good, and they will feature in my betting strategy this weekend.
Stay tuned, punters. Something to look forward to in a bit. I suppose the big question is, though, it seems like we're all pretty impressed with the Blues. I don't know, Richard, are you also on the Blues bandwagon at the moment? Or
yeah, I mean, they've probably been the form team of the tournament. The Crusaders. Sorry, they just kind of couldn't quite dominate the Waratahs with as much as I thought they would on the weekend, and they're probably right. And now the Blues are rightfully sitting on the top. Big game this weekend, so I think that'll be a real challenge to see. If they can get the 5 points from that game, they're obviously pretty much a shoo-in for that final, and probably at home, judging by how the game's looking. So they're paying $3.50 to win the tournament market. I just had a wee look before. I think Crusaders about $1.57 and Hurricanes at $7. So I'd be pretty happy to take the $3.50. Likely, if they make the final, it would be at home. I mean, very likely also to be against the Crusaders.
Will they be paying more than $3.50 if they're playing the Crusaders in the
that's
final?
True, yeah.
I suppose what you're hoping there is the
Crusaders
Crusaders slip up, or the Canes get 2 more bonus points, and they're playing the Canes, right?
Same thing with the Canes. If they can get the 5 points this week, then it'd be game on.
All sets it up for Friday night next week at the stadium.
I might even have to go along to that one if they can.
I'll be there.
Yeah, I'll escort you, Fisky. Don't worry about that.
Red Badge Security. You might want to bring double the numbers in next Friday night, just pre-warning. But so we're all. I'll just throw this up to the table. Is everyone predicting a Crusaders Blues final at this stage?
No, I think there's enough there that there could be a slip up. But to change that, I think the Canes are still perfect at the moment. So if they come out and give the Brumbies a toweling, them at home to the Reds, might not matter what the other teams do if Canes keep going. So the ball's in their court. They've earned the right to still be a massive chance. So, Blues might go up to Lang Park and lose. They might only win without a bonus point. So I think the Crusaders, you can lock them in. But I can't split Canes and Blues at the moment.
Oh, very interesting. I suppose we should touch on the Reds after what they did on Saturday night.
Hey, one for Australia.
Congratulations. We must be beaming with pride after that performance up in Townsville. Fisky, did you have many takeaways other than they're lucky the Chiefs decided to play league for 15 minutes at the start of the end of the first half?
Yeah, it's a public holiday. Australia were dancing in the streets after that match Saturday night. It was a brilliant occasion for the country. A few people were up and about afterwards. It was a bloody good game of footy. Chiefs kind of showed if they were switched on from the word go, they probably would have had it in hand. But it's going to happen again this week in terms of Canes going to the Brumbies. If you're going to the best Aussie sides on the road, it's never going to be easy. I don't care what anyone says. A couple of these weaker sides, you'll go there and you'll probably win and win well if you're on. But no, there's still a slip up there ready to happen for either Canes in Canberra this week, maybe Highlanders in Canberra next week, and potentially Blues, in Queensland on Friday night. So, I wouldn't declare the Aussie teams as hopeless, but on the road they've shown they can't cut it.
You've adjusted your season wins for Australian teams after the win last week. What was it? You moved to a flat 1, didn't you?
Yeah, that's gone from a flat 1 to 1.5 now.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think I've called out any 3 genuine hopes, and I could see one more actually out of those 3.
Yeah, you are getting $1.94 just for a Hurricanes Blues multi head-to-head, the two sides this weekend. So it's, the bookies are suggesting there's close to a 50% chance one of those two teams get tripped up.
Correct.
You had to go on record and pick one, Rusty. I'm going to put you on the spot here. Are either of these teams getting tripped up?
I think they'll both be close games. If I had to choose one, I think the Brumbies. Yeah, I just... Oh, the Hurricanes. They're just, they have looked, they've looked good. They've been scoring points and all that, but the opposition hasn't been brilliant. And the Brumbies had a hard time on the road. They've looked good against Crusaders, but they've had 2 big losses since. They'll be wanting to come back home and really give it a good shot. And that's probably the one that I could see either or both of them. I'm definitely not giving either team, either the Reds or the Brumbies, a chance, but the Brumbies is more likely for me. Yeah.
Fair enough. How about you, Paul? Upset alert. Who's on it?
I agree. The Brumbies. Obviously, the Reds picking up a win last weekend, huge for them. But as you say, they were playing well. The Chiefs were sort of going, well, why don't we play a state of origin match and just have 13 on the field? Sort of.
Maybe they heard these NRL expansion rumours and they're trying to show what they can do with 13 players and get a spot or something.
Outside of that, and we saw that once they started throwing the ball around, they really gave the Reds a bit of a push. So the Brumbies at home, the Hurricanes have always had a tough battle when they travelled over to Australia to take on the Brumbies. And I don't see why that would be any different this time as well. The Brumbies have nothing to play for apart from pride, so they're probably going to give the ball a wee bit of air.
This is the Brumbies we're talking about.
Yeah, they'll give it a good go. The Hurricanes, you never know which team's turning up. But I'd love to see them win with the bonus points so that everything is on next weekend's game. I just think the Brumbies will give them a really, really good go, and they could tip them up.
No, fair enough. And how about you, Fisky? Do you reckon we'll see an upset in one of those two games?
Well, I don't want to spoil my best bet of the week or my roughie of the week, but I give the Brumbies every chance. I think this will be – I think it's going to be about 6 degrees at kickoff. By the time the game's over, it'll be about 3 degrees. It'll be freezing in Canberra, and I can tell you from experience, Canberra Stadium is – about 3 or 4 degrees colder than anywhere else in Canberra. So I dare say it'll hit 0. It'll be really tough conditions for the visitors. And, it'll be ball up the jumper stuff, I think, the way the Brumbies play. And Canes are really going to have to adjust to that style. Now, if they get off to a good lead, I think they could clear out just given their class. But if Brumbies are in the contest after 40, I think they'll come home the better.
Fair enough, yeah. The Hurricanes, to be fair, no strangers to playing in some pretty miserable conditions, as we've seen at the Cake Tin over the years. I
was going to say,
we had Beaver on the pod a few weeks back saying, back when he was coming down here, he used to look out the window at the Intercontinental on game day and try and ping the hammy. So,
one thing about Canberra is the weather's always generally fine, but it is freezing. And I've lived in both cities for many years, and Canberra is a different place. And I wouldn't say they'll have a big crowd there. They'll have some home support. Hurricanes have slipped up there many times over the years when expected to win. So, like Paul said, I don't expect this to be any different.
Yeah, and I think they got towed up last time they went to, is it still GIO Stadium or whatever it's called? But that was the game where TJ scored the try off the intercept off the back of the line, and I think it was the only try they scored in a
sort of dive Superman style.
Yeah, but they have put some big scores on the Brumbies in recent history too, but those were all, Bowden Barrett and the team and everything else, so not too sure how much you can draw from those. I think that is the game of the round though, probably, so should touch on it maybe from the Cane side a bit. Artie Severe obviously came off the bench and looked pretty good in about 30 minutes of play, got involved in setting up that try for Nani Lamape, had a few big carries as he is want to do. That's got to be a pretty big boost, though, if you're the Canes getting Artie back. I imagine he's going to be starting this weekend.
Yeah. Huge plus for the Hurricanes, yeah. As you say, when he came on last week, it looked really, really good. And he has been their best player all season this season, even with the sort of performances that Geordie Barrett has put on. Artie's still been their best player,
even when he was only playing on one leg.
Exactly. So that's a big plus for the Canes. They're the Canes.
Yeah, and just as well, looking at a few the team lists aren't out at this stage yet, but looking through a few photos from training and hearing a few, it looks like Ruben Love might be back in the 10 jersey as well, which I think
that's another big plus.
Will bode well, especially in terms of chasing the bonus point. Like Auburn Ledge has been actually pretty solid, but if you want to throw it around and put a bit more fear in the defense, Ruben's probably the man you want there running the show in terms of he's at least a real threat to take the ball to the line and he's got that good passing game. So that could be another tick in the Hurricanes column. But yeah, like you say, I think this is, I don't know what you guys think, but I'd say this is a pretty high variance game where it could either go.
Oh, you wouldn't be surprised to see either team win 13 and over or either team to win with a drop goal in the final minute.
Yeah. Like it could be 9-6 Brumbies. You wouldn't be shocked at all. But yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't fall off my chair if the Canes put 30 on them either. So yeah, love a bit of speculation there. Probably. I don't know is there anything else we want to touch on the Reds Blues? That's the other real key game in terms of, do we think the Reds will take their foot off the gas after getting a win last week, or that'll just spur them on? Fisky, I'll throw to you as an Australian expert.
Yeah, I think what I said for the Reds, for the Brumbies game is pretty similar for Reds. I don't think the end of last week will mean much in the mindset of the Reds. They won the game. They'd be very happy with themselves. I think the Blues, they do tend to bully the Aussie sides, and I think the Kiwi sides have kind of worked them out to a large extent. So Blues do enjoy playing the Aussie teams, and their pack will dominate, you'd think. Reds can throw it around with the best of them, though. So, yeah, I'm actually get it where it is in the betting. So I'm sort of on the fence there. I think the Blues will win. I think Reds are close enough to challenge. What I like about the link between two games is I think if Blues do win and win well, that'll put the pressure on the Canes. I think if Blues win with a bonus point, we could get to a point where Hurricanes try to overplay their hand on the Saturday night. And you don't want to go into a game in Canberra. I know I'm going back to the other one. You don't want to go in there trying to think we have to score 4 or 5 tries. I think you need to just go out there and win the game and, turn it on late if you're ahead. So, yeah, Blues can actually really put the screws on the Canes if they win well at Lang Park, and the conditions will suit. It's going to be a fine evening.
Wouldn't it be great if the Blues and the Hurricanes picked up maximum points for the final 2 weeks of the tournament and both made the final, thereby knocking the Crusaders? And it's not because I hate the Crusaders, because I don't. It'd be nice to see a couple of other teams in the final.
I think it would, yeah. It would be a bit weird because, like the best team obviously wouldn't be in the final, but wouldn't give
That's how these competitions work. Do your work early, get everything done, and you make the final.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. That point aside, I think it would add a little bit of buzz to, especially having the Blues in a final and the Hurricane, probably incite a lot of the country be, see two teams not non-Crusaders division competing for it.
If it was Blues Hurricanes, Eden Park, what Blues 5.5 point favourites?
Yeah, that last Hurricanes Blues game was a weird game. I think that was the game that made the coaching staff go, we need to figure out something with our backline and chucked Ruben in at 10, and then they came out the week after against the Crusaders and gave them a real scare. But yeah, and then the Blues also, I actually don't think are going as well as they were early in Super Rugby Aotearoa. So it would be, I think the Blues would be probably warm favourites, but not too sure.
Yeah. I thought we should talk about it now.
Right.
It probably won't happen.
Yeah, but fantasy market. Yeah. The Crusaders are still $1.57 to win the whole competition. I'll just remind everyone. So let's not.
Well, exactly.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't be rushing into that. I don't know. I just stay out of that market and just back them to. Anyway, time to get on to best bets, I think. Unless does anyone want to talk about Highlanders Waratahs?
That actually comes up in my best bet, so I might save it till then.
Right, yeah. I just
Carl Toley's not here, so no one wants to talk about the Highlanders.
Did Carl end up backing Nariki to score a try last? Because I feel like every time he's been on the podcast, he backs Nariki. And then last week he
went with Lamapi, who actually got Highlanders
he got
well.
it.
So
he got his
good. Shout out to Carl. But yeah, I think just with the Highlanders missing out on that bonus point against the Rebels and the Waratahs being the Waratahs.
It was a weird game. Something just was a bit strange about watching that game. It was just sort of lacked a bit of energy. And yeah, I don't know, the Rebels kind of did enough, didn't they?
The Rebels will do that to just games.
Fisky,
right?
you would have loved to see the memories of Kurabiti scoring at Leichhardt Oval.
Yeah, I think it posted TAB New Zealand social media picked up on that and said it took the Rebels going back to Leichhardt Oval to see Kurabiti get across the line again. I thought that was very good.
Yeah. It was great to see.
Yeah,
That brings back some memories. And, yeah, it's great to see that breaking news that the Chiefs will be at Leichhardt this week. So the Rebels are once again going to play an away game against the New Zealand side at Leichhardt. So you've heard it here first, Sunday afternoon, 3 p.m. Australian time, 5 p.m. New Zealand time.
Exciting times. No odds currently up for that game, but yeah, I don't know.
It's only just come out, but I think you'll find the line was 19.5 last night. It probably will stay similar with Mackenzie being suspended. There was talk there's going to be a bit of rain in Hamilton anyway, so with fine conditions in Sydney, it might actually suit the Chiefs a bit better.
Right, yeah, but Sunday afternoon game at Leichhardt where the Tigers are guaranteed not to lose.
Oh, brilliant.
Have you got your Rebels jersey in the post, or is it already at home?
Yeah, my Rebels jersey keeps me warm at night. I've burnt it. I've just put it on the fire just to keep me warm. But now a bit of a cross-code shout-out. The West Tigers are on at Leichhardt on Friday night against the originless Penrith Panthers. So Tigers are some hope. And if you want to get involved in TAB's, what do we call it? Sweepstakes?
NRL,
The big league sweepstake?
Yeah.
Big league sweepstakes. You've got 4 matches to get your bets on, and you could be winning a $40,000 bonus bet in State of Origin, drawn on Tuesday. So get involved, guys.
Register. Yeah.
Who's playing left centre for the Panthers on Friday night?
It'd be
In the halves.
Oh,
the left centre would be Momorowski.
Back him to score a try.
Okay.
That's my hot tip. Not the
Okay. Okay.
left centre for the Panthers has a very good strike rate playing outside Viliame Kikau, I believe. That's what I've been told. And they're playing the Tigers. Well, the Tigers did last week.
This is a rugby union podcast.
We've gone off on a tangent.
I know we've got to get these big league sweepstakes shout outs, and it's we're really driving it home last few days, register and all that.
yeah,
But
5 more days to register.
for the rest of this week's Advantage Line podcast, head to TAB's YouTube channel. I'm a company man.
Good work.
Back to the finer code. Best bets time. Fisky obviously well ahead in the tipping competition as I pull the spreadsheet up here, plus $1,006 through 3 rounds of tipping. That's absolutely flying. None of us have quite lost that much, but we are all in the red. I'm $522 down. Paul $795.
No, I'm not.
Carl $815.
You made
Rissy
me.
$575.
You gave me negative 500 for the week. I didn't put any bets
You
on.
had 2 warnings and you didn't get your bets in. It's the same thing.
This is a dangerous precedent you're setting. You're saying to
Okay.
punters, if you don't have a bet, we're going to take your money anyway.
Tell you
You cannot do
Tell
that.
you what, I'll give you a deal. You can have double stakes on each
This
of your
is-
bets from last week instead if you want. Then you'll only be down what?
I'm taking this to the
300.
Supreme. It's going all the way to the Supreme Court.
I'll put the system on trial.
Yeah, like I said, it's a edit only, it's a view only
Wow.
spreadsheet for you, Paul, for
This is-
good reason.
This
So,
is a dictatorship.
it
If anyone was wondering.
It sure is. Such a good dictatorship that I'm losing $500. So clearly going well. But anyway, as I said, Paul is well in the negatives as well as the rest of us. So hopefully we can find some winners this week. It's only fair to let the man who is flying at the moment lead off the batting order once again. Fisky, what's your best bet for round 4?
Listeners, I've got a good one for you this week. I'm seeing them like a watermelon. I'm just hitting it out of the middle with every shot I take. And now there's a game in Dunedin. It's going to be a little bit wet, but obviously we know that it's an indoor stadium. The Highlanders at home for the first time since round 1. They're up against the Waratahs, who have covered all 3 matches. Never really looked like a chance of winning any of them, but have hung in there by scoring a lot of points. That's where I'm going with this one. I don't know if the Highlanders will cover the 27.5, but what I do know, there'll be heaps of points. So I love this one. The quote isn't up, but I would take anything under 63.5, anything around 63 or lower, I'd take the over. I think this will be a real high scorer. That's my best bet of the week. I think this is going to get close to 70. of the 6 matches combined they've played, 5 of the 6 have gone over. I'll give you the totals in the Waratahs matches this season so far: 112, 69, and 82. I'm telling you, this is going over. I think the quote will be in the high 50s. It's not enough. This will go over. We know Highlanders love scoring a lot of points at home. Get on. I love this one.
Yeah, don't mind that. The 100 and whatever point game against the Hurricanes obviously rings fairly heavy in the memory for me. So could see that there being a lot of points under the roof there. Paul, what's your best bet? Are you going to put one in, or do you want to just seize your time again?
I probably should, because at least if I lose, I've lost because I've put a bet on, as opposed to the dictator taking it out of my bank account.
Well,
So-
either way, yeah.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to Friday night, the late game. And look, I used to think the Blues were sort of a wee bit of a flat track bully. I've changed my mind. I actually think they've got something bubbling away there up north of the Bombay Hills. So I'm going to take the Blues -7.5 against the Queensland Reds. You can argue that the Reds were made to look slightly better than they were playing against a team with less than 15 for most of the match. And I love the way the Blues put the Brumbies away last weekend. So Blues -7.5.
Nice one. How about you, Richard?
Well, at least one of us will be a winner, Paul.
Ahoy!
Because
Here we go.
Reds plus 7.5. So yeah, I'm going to forget the last 20 minutes of that game. I know they did enough to win it, and I think they'll be up and about after that win last week. They've won 3 of the last 4 at home versus the Blues, with the 4th game being a draw. So they're unbeaten in the last 4 against the Blues. And they've covered 4 of the last 5 when hosting New Zealand teams. The Reds have, including last week, but probably not including the game against the Crusaders. So, yeah, I just think they'll be up and about, and they'll at least do enough to cover that. Yes, that one try. Just the fact that it's over that one try, I think they'll be right in it. The Blues, yeah, they haven't come up against great opposition yet, so it'll be interesting to see how they do. And I'm not convinced. So
I'll give you the
Reds
tip.
plus 7.5.
This will be the only Blue team that wins in Queensland over the next 7 days.
Oh, here we go.
Come on. Come on.
Get Brinker Lee back in there.
Okay.
Always good to give Brinker a shout out. I'm going a bit off the rails with my best bet this week, chucking a 2-leg multi together. I did have something different written down, but then I just chucked the Blues and the Hurricanes in a multi and said, you're getting $1.94. Neither of those teams are losing. Take the $1.94. Blues Canes head-to-head multi. It's me.
Interesting.
That's certainly one way to put it.
Where do we go now?
Do you got some value for us?
Value.
Yeah. Value is a relative term, but...
Yeah, well, yeah, I do.
Okay.
And I'm sticking with the Blues. I think they're going to put a score on the Reds this weekend. So I've gone to the alternate point start. I'm taking the Blues -19.5 at 325.
Ooh. Nice. Richard, how about you?
I'm having a look at the Brumbies Hurricanes game, and I won't be surprised to see an upset there. I said earlier. So I quite like Brumbies 1-12 at $4. They'll be, as I said earlier, they'll be happy to sort of return home off that 3-game road trip in New Zealand. The Hurricanes, they've looked all right, but they've sort of haven't come off against great opposition yet. And I think the Brumbies are a much better team than those other three Australian teams. They've won 4 of the last 5 when hosting the Hurricanes, and 3 of those wins have been by that 1-12 margin. So I quite like that at $4. The Brumbies 1-12.
Nice one. I am also going to that game for my value bet, but I'm on the other side of things. I reckon the Hurricanes will win fairly comfortably, but they're obviously not going to run away with things being in Canberra. And
he's going to throw 11-20.
Oh, you know I am. I love it. 11-20.
He's going to throw in 11-20.
Canes 11-20 at 450. I can see you sort of. I'm not sure if that's disgust or if you're still spewing over Paul's take on the Blues not winning on Wednesday night. Fisky, but what's your value bet?
No, a wise man once said, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, you'll get what you've always got. Right? And Paddy, we just saw your ledger in the punting this year. It's heavily in the red, and you're still running your 11-20s. I thought you
Well,
might get.
it's always the Crusaders. I think what we've learned here is the Crusaders are actually a terrible football team who can't cover anything.
I thought you might have gone back to basics. I've given you too much credit there. So, what I'm going to do here,
I'll be the one in the group chat at 11:45 on Saturday night after about 25 export goals, getting real leery. So just wait for that.
I can't wait, mate. And Brumbies for me are in this one up to their ears. I think conditions will suit, and not just that. They've had a couple of really humiliating losses. They want to bounce back at home. They think they've got something to offer. There's still a lot of belief in this squad, and I think they'll compete. I think they'll make a real game of it, and I think Brumbies at 260 are a good bet. So that's my value play of the week. Brumbies to win the match at 260.
Interesting to hear they've had a couple of humiliating losses used in a sentence to justify tipping a team, but yeah, like where you're coming from there.
Mate, I'll cop it. I'll cop it on the chin when I'm losing, not when I'm up $1,000.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm very much the other way. I get mouthier and mouthier the more I start losing. It's my defense mechanism. So, yeah.
No, look, I know, mate. They've been thoroughly outclassed in New Zealand, but home ground means a lot, and it always has in Super Rugby. So not so much in Super Rugby Aotearoa because the sides know each other so well, and the grounds are so close comparatively. So. But Super Rugby, historically, we saw teams only just beating the Force in Perth this year. We've seen the Reds get up against the Chiefs. I still think and we've seen every Australian team in New Zealand pretty much to a team get flogged, but then turn around when they're at home. So I think this is another situation where, I think Brumbies can lift.
Fair enough. I'll just point out the Crusaders, the one team who haven't had an out of flogging to the Australian team when they were hosting them as well. Just for the record. But got to get some multi-anchors. Fisky, you got a multi-anchor for us?
Yeah, and I'm going to go against everything I just said and tip the Blues as my multi-anchor. $1.34. I think Reds have had their win. Blues won't be surprised or shocked to see them compete because they saw what they did to the Chiefs last week. So I think the Blues will not take this lightly. They've got a very, very good pack, and bringing Satutu off the bench only strengthens how they'll finish the game. Yeah, I don't know about the start. I'm on the fence there, but I think that $1.34 to win's a lock.
Yeah, nice one. How about you, Richard? What's your multi-anchor?
I'm in between two here, but I'll stick with my original thought. Highlanders alternative point start minus 15.5 at $1.29. I think that they'll win. I think as Fisky said earlier, I think the actual line's a bit big and the Waratahs have been covering, but just that little bit less, that 15.5. I think that should be comfortable in $1.29. Nice little bit of
I like what you've done there, Rissy. I think you're on song this week, mate.
Thank you, Fisky. Feeling very good after last week and hearing it from such a astute tipster as yourself.
Fisky's getting a bit out over his skis here, I think. It's, sort of real Icarus moment.
We're not worthy.
I can hear the wax melting on the wings right now. Yeah.
Fisky's world.
We're going to come crashing down in a freezing cold heap at Canberra at about 11:30 on Saturday night.
It always comes crashing down for me in a heap at about 11:30 on Saturday night. I think we knew that.
Yeah, there was a real too real sort of look on your face there. Anyway, I don't know if you realise this, Rissy, but I had the exact same market pulled up on my laptop. I'm just going 1 point higher than you. Highlanders minus 16.5 at $1.33.
I don't like that at all. A bit too Larry.
Highlanders to win by 16.
What's Highlanders plus 16 pay? Yeah. And you, Paul, what's your anchor?
Blues head-to-head, $1.34.
Try score a bit. Obviously, just remind all the punters it is a try time on the Hurricanes Blues. No.
Brumbies.
Professional podcast host here, everybody.
Starts with B. Yeah,
Brumbies Hurricanes, Saturday, 9:45. Tell the people what try time is, Paul.
Place a pre-match anytime try score a bet of $30 or more and get a $5 bonus bet for every try scored in that match. And as Patrick correctly said, this week's match, it's the Brumbies Hurricanes on Saturday night. So, yeah, anytime try score a market there, jump on, have a go.
Could be a fill-up, and as I also said, it could be 9-6 Brumbies. So, But yeah, I think the way the Hurricanes are playing, there'll be some tries there. Anyway, going to get a try score bet from each year before we get out of here. Can be any game, obviously. Try time team lists aren't out for the Saturday and Sunday games, but you know the rules. You can adjust them if your player's not named. Who you backing to score a try, Paul?
I'm going Zahn Sullivan, the Blues fullback. I think the Blues are going to be throwing the ball around in Queensland this weekend, and I think there'll be a few tries. So I think you can have a look pretty much right along that Blues back line. But I've picked out Zahn. He just seems to pop up in the right place at the right time, and I think he'll be dotting down Friday night. Zahn Sullivan, 288 he's paying.
288. How about you, Fisky?
Yeah, Zahn's a good footballer, Paul. I always go Geordie Barrett, and he's looked after me 2 out of 3 matches. But I want to jump off Geordie this week and go with a Brumbies player. So Tom Wright, the graduate of St Joseph's College, Hunters Hill, the rugby nursery in Sydney. He's
bingo cards, listeners.
Yeah, so he's a great footballer, Tom, and on the wing there, he's done some good things, and he does really well at home. I think he's a smart footballer too. So I'm going to go Tom Wright. Brumbies winger, I think he'll be around the 250 mark.
Fisky is almost the Aussie Ken Laban.
Oh, that Hurricanes game on Friday was absolutely ridiculous. Just every single I thought it was
brilliant.
They were panning to people in the crowd, and they're like, the man there in 3C, he attended Lindisfarne College and then played 4 games for the Napier Pirates, third 15. Yeah.
So little known fact: Tom Wright played 1 NRL match with Manly Sea Eagles.
Not a little known fact on this podcast.
Oh, we do know it. Okay, we're all over it.
Yeah, may have mentioned it once or twice. But
yeah. But yeah, Tom's my man, and I think it'll be a good game of football.
Should be. Who are you backing to score a try, Rossi?
I'm also going to the Reds Blues games like Paul, but I'm going to go for a Reds player.
Don't tell me he's a front rower.
Suliasi Vunivalu.
Vunivalu.
He's scored 4 tries in 3 games so far. Joint top try scorer in the competition, and he has scored 1 try in each game. So playing some good footy. I think the Reds will also be throwing it around a bit.
I think he's joined top with a Blues player as well.
There's 4 at the top there, actually. Yeah.
There's
Moanga, Eklund, and
Bryce Heem.
Yeah. That's it. No, not Eklund. I can't remember who the other one was. But yeah, no, I like that one. I think that Reds will be throwing it around. They'll be spinning it off the right, and yeah, be good.
I'm going to the Highlanders Waratahs game. Obviously, don't know the team lists as of yet, but presuming Shannon Frizzell's named for the Highlanders, I'll be backing him. There's going to be plenty of tries in that game. Frizzell, runs great lines. He's always good value, and they're around that $3 mark to score a try. Probably a little bit less just because of the high scoring.
There's probably going to be quite a few tries.
Yeah. But I reckon the Waratahs, can't tackle, so they won't be able to tackle him. That's who I'm going with. And
get on the overs in that match. That is a Lockshaw moral. Get on.
Another great gift there as well with the sort of hands from Fisky. So yeah, a lot of value is providing the punters in many different ways there. But I think that's everything to go. We've covered everything we need to on this week. Any last business before we let Paul go and get his haircut?
No, just hopefully the Blues and the Hurricanes can pick up some convincing wins and make it a very, very interesting last weekend of the regular season.
Not for my betting, but yeah.
Mainly the Hurricanes for personal and betting reasons for me. But yeah. Thanks for joining us, Fisky. Might have you in studio next week.
I'll be there. Can't wait to get back to Wellington and New Zealand.
Big week on the Pick and Go podcast coming out. Cheers for joining us, boys. Good luck on the punt this week. Hope you all go well. And same to you, punters. Talk to you again next week.